they discovered an unsafe condition at this building back in April. They didn't actually force it poses a falling hazard for pedestrians. DOB violated the building.
Sometimes you look up and you wonder how safe these buildings are. Well, it turns out in some instances, not very.
A little bit of fear keeps you honest, but you stand at the top of a building, you're 50, 60, 70 stories up, and you take that first step over, your heart is definitely racing. Very few people would not feel a little bit of trepidation. Building stock in the city is at a point now where it's at critical mass, but a poorly maintained building, a little bit of corroding steel, a fractured piece of terracotta can easily become a hazard to the public.
Is John still on roll? John is off roll.
So, Zusha, since you're doing the hard one right now, I'll take one for the team and do all the balconies.
Yeah, that's going to be really hard.
It's all yours. I mean, if you want to, go.
FISP is the Facade Inspection and Safety Program, and it was really born out of this lobbying effort around 1980 when the first local law came out, and it was in response to a young Barnard student named Grace Gold who was killed by a piece of masonry falling off a building. So there was an outcry to say, how can we do this better? How can we better protect the public and make buildings safe?
With experience, you tend to know, kind of identify the problematic areas. Based on the type of construction, older buildings, pre-war style buildings have certain affinity for typical repair needs. And then we set up a plan that shows us the locations of where we're going to perform our drops. And when we get out on the rope, we're equipped with cameras, some small hammers, and a little bag if anything happens to get loose and we need to remove it.
Zusha, they're going to pull us, I think.
Everything good?
Two things over here. One, we're gonna if you could pull me in, and also we're gonna need you guys to take an unsafe removal off right where I'm at.
But typically what we're doing is visual inspection, touching the elements, looking in the inside corners, the areas that are really difficult to see from vantage points outside of either on a scaffold or on a rope where you're right up close and on the building. It's extremely important that we do what we do and that the city pushes us to be more critical and to look at every facade, even if it's in the back of the building.
Do you see the copper, how it's separated at the edge a little bit? So it's open and there's just like rusty steel and concrete pieces that are just sitting there.
You know, it was all horizontal cracks.
Yeah.
So way at the very top, we had exfoliating brick, which since it's at the top, it's dangerous.
A lot of the buildings I work on were built between 1900 and 1920, so they're all topping out at 100 years at this point. Terracotta, for example, they usually call it like a 100-year material. So we have a lot of buildings in the city with terracotta where they've been repaired over the years. Those repairs have failed again, and we're to the point where the interior steel structure and anchorage is also failing. I love old buildings, I love old structures, so I personally think it's important to preserve that.
What we do is really public safety oriented, right? The lion's share of our work is derived from Local Law 11 and the FISP program, and the whole impotence of that is to keep the public safe. It's not about the people who work in the building, it's not about the people who are fixing the building, it's literally about the public. This city's fantastic and there's so much energy here. Just even in the bad times, this place is great. There's no place I would want to contribute my time and effort to keep in good shape and to rebuild than New York. It's just, it's a part of me.